Hi everyone, my name is Brandon, aka Smart Home Sellout, and today we're going to be going over the ceiling mount for the PRO-1. As always, we want to be safe, so we will first start with our PPE. I like these because they create a nice seal around my face. I am going to skip this, but you should not. It is a N95 mask. The way that we're doing this should not be a very dusty process. Well, it can be, however, we're using this to help protect us from all the dust, but it's still a good idea to use this. It's just gonna muffle my voice, so I'm not gonna use this for the video. All right, so I'm gonna take these off till we're ready. So what we're gonna be doing is actually using this Milwaukee adjustable hole cutter, and the reason that I wanted to do this is the PRO-1 is going to mount inside of this ceiling fixture, and we want to cut a nice hole in our sheetrock. And you can always use a drywall knife. This cost me $40 or $43 for the adjustable hole cutter. So you know, if you're trying to save a few bucks, it's possible to just use a drywall knife. But you know, it's not going to be a nice perfect hole. If so, then you're probably an artist. But you know, at the end of the day, if you know you want to save a few bucks, you can go that route. Okay, so I did want to show you that, let's see here, that this thing comes with these kind of like plastic rivets. And so what I noticed is there's these little, on this side, there's these little tabs, and if you grab some pliers and pull, well, that one didn't work. They should come right off. I was able to get the first one off right away, so I wanted to show how to do this, but of course that would be too easy, right? Come on. This is just part of the packaging, so it's not a big deal. All right, got it. And we need this little piece. All right, so yeah, so that was just plastic packaging. We're gonna set that aside. All right, so this basically comes in, and it's got some directions here. I watched a little YouTube video just to make sure that I was familiar with it, but you know, it shows how this piece actually connects to your drill, you know, and then you put it up close and you butt it up to the wall. Anyway, yeah, so I'll kind of show you how what we're doing here. There's gonna be a little bit of learning as we go. Let's see here. So, yeah, so set this down. It kind of has some special little channels where these all fit in, and you can kind of see here they kind of pop in, and then once that's popped in, it kind of has some play to it, right? All right, and then next, this is our adjustable tool, and my understanding is we should be able to pull back on, yeah, so this kind of locks it in place here. But first we want to, and this is going to be a little greasy, so forewarning, to get you a paper towel or something. All right, so let's see here. Oh yeah, this you know, locks it in place, right? This is called a quick lock. This is what actually attaches to your drill. However, you also need to remove this, and that actually allows it to, these to kind of push in or out, right? So, and it shows here exactly how many inches, so like 5.5, whatever. We should be going to the 3.5 mark on both sides. So we're gonna move this in, and it's pointing right at 3.5. And these are very sharp, so be careful. Well, I don't know about very sharp, but you know, it'll hurt you. Okay, 3.5. And again, remember to put this back in. And then I'm gonna hold from this side. And you know what? We actually did this a little bit backwards here. These, let's see. There we go. No, we didn't. Yeah, this is exactly what we want. So yeah, so this is going to spin around like this. And this part is going to go into our drill. 1 second, let me connect to the drill. Actually, we're going to jump back to this in just a few minutes. So, let me get my hands kind of cleaned up here. One thing I wanted to go over is that if you don't know what's on the other side of this wall, it is very possible for you to, hit a, copper line or a Nupex water tube or, Romex, hit some electricity or something. So, if you want to be extra safe, let's first drill a test hole. And, obviously you don't want to push super hard or anything. And if you have it, these are really neat. This is a scope. And I'm going to show you on my iPad here how this works. So, they just found it. All right, so I'm going to show you here. So this scope is basically just USB, and what it does is has a camera on the very end. It also has a light there, and it has a secondary camera facing right here with the light on that as well. And we can switch between the cameras. And so what this allows us to do is to, after drilling that hole, stick this in here. And you know what? I didn't drill quite a big enough hole. Give me just a second. I'm gonna make that a little bigger. It worked like big enough when I first did it. All right. All right. So, grab our scope. And I just want to show you here. You should be able to see that. You can go in here and actually see what it's seeing in the wall. And then what we can do, we can hit this little button and that'll start using the side camera. So now we can kind of see the studs, look around, make sure you can see that. See the studs, look around, and see if we're clear and ready to proceed. So once you have done that, now let's attach this to our drill. Attaching it now. And just in case, I'll say this. That's very dangerous, so we need to be very careful. Don't point this in anything you don't want to drill. All right, so I'm actually gonna go right next to my hole here. And I do want to mention one last thing. So this is actually a ceiling mount. You don't have to have it in the ceiling, but that's what this is designed for. We have already gone over our single gang low voltage box mount. That's also an option, another video. I do want to just make sure that you look over our guide online. I believe it's 2.5 to 3 meters in height is the ideal placement. Like a typical house ceiling, and where you orient it matters, right? So let's grab this MM-Wave sensor. So the MM-Wave sensor, this is the back side of it, so it's going to be facing out like this. Pull this off. So there's 2 MM-Wave sensors here, and these are pushing out an MM-Wave radar cone, if you will. So the FOV, the field of view of the MM-Wave that's actually the radar waves protruding from this and bouncing back are at a 150 degree angle for the LD2412 and at a 120 degree FOV for the LD2450. So we do want to make sure that we're mounting this in this orientation if we want the best field of view. Now in certain situations you might actually want to move it sideways, but for unless you specifically know that you want to do that, make sure that we're mounting it up and down. All right, so I read online here, you know, that the torquing can kind of matter. I'm gonna switch this over to drill mode, and I'm gonna put it at like 60 torque and just kind of see where we're at. All right, so start small, slow. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna go here. Boom. Look how easy that was. Freaking perfect circle. You guys forgot to remind me to put these on. And you know what? There is still a lot of sheetrock, but if this was up in the ceiling, it would have fallen right down, and you could have waited a few seconds for that plume. Just learn from my mistakes. All right. Well, that was actually incredibly easy. So the way that this works, and let's take this out so I can show you the whole process here. So first, these are prototypes. Yours are going to be in a nice clear resin. These we just printed out quick just to get some testing done. This is our ceiling mount, and so these need to be attached, and I'll have another video showing how to attach these. It's pretty simple though. They just line up. Like, you want to make sure whenever you're putting these on that you put the bottom one on the bottom, the top one on the top, because they can only go one way without hitting something on the board. If you see any little resistors, diodes, etc. on the PCB that this would hit, then you probably have them swapped or something, right? So, all right, and this will actually come with this little lid popped on here, and we're just gonna push it off from the inside. One last thing is, and nice and humid in my Texas shed in June. One last thing, we want these little ears to be facing the wall, right? So if yours do not look like this, where the ears are actually kind of, right now before they're bent back, they're facing forwards, then you want to make sure that they look like that. Okay, and then next steps, we're just going to bend these all the way back, and of course be careful, because there's you could pinch yourself here on these. So what we're gonna do, push those back. It's gonna kind of hug the wall. Boom. We now have a hole ready to put Ethernet through. So at this point, we should already have an Ethernet cable in the wall, or if not, that's our next steps. And our Ethernet will be coming down. We will go ahead and plug our Ethernet in. We will slide this in, and again, this is a prototype, so yours are going to fit a little more gently, if you will. Come on. I already know it fits. I took it out of it. Come on. There we go. Okay. And you need to push it back a little bit, because this, goes in, I don't know, half an inch or something like that. And again, remember, we want to have it perfectly straight up and down. Slide this cover on. Boom, you're done. All right, so just to recap. First, PPE. Next, attach if I can get this off. Attach the two little pieces to the PRO-1. Also, if you have not already done so, put the LD2412B on your device. Next, we are going to either drill a pilot test hole and use our scope to make sure that there's nothing in the wall that we were going to hit. And then lastly, we're actually going to cut the hole. You can either use this, or you can use a drywall knife. And then once that's cut out, we're going to put this in with our ears bent all the way back so that they hold into the wall. And then put your cover on. All right, at this point, please check out some of our other YouTube videos, our wiki articles, talk to us on Discord, etc. To get your device configured and tuned the way you want it. And thanks again for watching. Again, my name is Brandon, aka Smart Home Sellout, and making this video for Apollo Automation. for our new PRO-1 PoE based dual MM wave sensor. All right, thanks again, everyone.